Okay, yes. So, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for taking out of your busy schedule to join this conversation. So now welcome to another edition of the DigiClan panel discussion. So essentially, the aim is to have experts, marketing experts, discuss certain topics that would essentially, help the growth of the industry. And I'm pretty sure that most of us here, know what DigiClan is about or know DigiClan. And I know a number of us might have also, so a number of us might have also joined the meeting without knowing what DigiClan is about. So essentially, DigiClan is a community of marketing and tech professionals, spanning all aspects of the marketing industry. And the whole aim is for us to have a community where people can share the latest trends, insights, connect with fellow marketers and leverage opportunities together. Yeah, so today's final discussion, we're going to be talking about, a topic that is kind of a no-brainer. We'll be discussing about who should represent marketing in C-suite conversations. And we have two speakers that are panelists essentially. So we have Temitope Ekundayo. So IZ will be represented by Mobola Akingbala. So Temitope Akindayo, sorry, I don't know if I'm getting the name right. Okay, yeah, so Temitope creates marketing, growth, sales, and CX strategies to scale up and grow technology companies. He's an experienced entrepreneur with background across technology, consulting, advertising, marketing, agency. He has a lot, and he enjoys reading and executing projects. He also runs a consultancy startup focused on SMBs to help them scale. Mobola is the CMO of Hire Foster. I know that once I open the floor for them, they would further give more, would know more about them. So I don't know if I missed anything out. Any talk about that you like to add about yourself?
Thanks for the intro. Hello.
Yeah, hello, can hear you.
That's it. There's nothing to add.
Oh, okay, yeah, thanks. Mobola, I couldn't so can you just about yourself, what you've been doing? Because I know that we know you are the CMO of Hire Foster. So aside Hire Foster, what are the other things that you're doing? Mobola, you have the floor.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is
Yeah.
Mobola. Yes, and I'm the CM of Hire Foster, and um, also I'm the head of operations for DigiClan. So, what I do when I'm not working is mostly sleeping, eating, and reading. Yes. So, I like to. That's basic. I'm just very honest. That's basically that's basically
No,
what I
no, no,
do.
no. No, okay, so
Sorry?
maybe we should just get. I said no wahala. No, maybe we should just get to the crux of the matter.
Okay,
Yeah, the
fantastic.
question: who should represent marketing in C-suite conversations? Well, first, a number of us, I'm sure most of us know what C-suite conversations is. That and mobile, maybe you should go first. Like, what's in your opinion? What are C-suite conversations?
Okay. So from my experience so far, it has been an interesting journey. C-suite conversations are mostly uh stakeholder conversations. So think of uh think of them as how will I call it, as the people who are like the first responders when it comes to who determines first of all the direction of the growth of a company. and also speak for the company before there's a board, the stakeholders, the investors. So the first responders, so to speak, who are first of all speaking the mind of the company to the public in terms of directing what's the journey of the company, what's the growth trajectory of the company, and also at the other end, who also speaks the um the wishes and the projections of the board or of the investors outside the company to the people within the company. So giving the message of the company, ensuring that everybody's aligned with what's the goal of those who are invested, whether financially or in other ways, to the company, so that everybody's aligned. So that's basically what CC's conversations are. So conversations have to do with stakeholders, whether intra company or outside of the company.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Timmy Dayo, I'd also like to hear your own views. What are C-suite conversations? Because I know that you are the CEO of Printivo. So yeah, what are C-suite conversations?
Hi, it's Dr. Just say Dr. All right, in terms of system conversations, basically, the other people have said you have been making decisions, right? So decision making to grow the business or grow or help scale the company. And those things are important to talk about decision making standard. So that's essentially what it is.
Okay.
Hi,
So it
yes.
seems like Timtope's network is okay.
Hello.
Okay, yeah,
We
we can hear you
we
now.
can hear you now.
I I did say I already said what I was saying. I ended the conversation. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
I can. Yes, yes, yes. It's better now.
Okay. So I said I'm saying you didn't hear me at all.
Ye- Man, his network is. Let's just maybe we should just move forward. Uh, okay, yes. So, Mobola, having defined what C-suite conversations are, so who do you think? So, to the crux of the matter, who do you think should actually represent markets in those conversations, and why do you think so?
When you say who do I think? Uh, I say chief marketing officer now. Abi. Chief marketing officer is the one that carries the burden of the communications. Communication whether of the company or the brand, so to speak, and ensuring that the team that has to do with crafting the communication is they are clear, they are correct, and that it's concise about the company. That's one. Two is um also communication about the company to the audience. So the chief marketing officer is the one who. So I would say if some companies don't have a CMO, and they have a head of marketing, so to speak, and I think that in cases like that, even though it's I think it's a lot of work to put the burden of the full communications on someone like a head of marketing, because there's the line of corporate communication or that has to do with communication is still a little bit more than just marketing, because marketing is there's a lot of work on its own. So within a company, I would say that people should that companies should typically have a communications person and then the marketing person if they do not if they don't have a CMO. So when it comes to marketing about the company, the
Interesting.
corporate communications person is the most likely person if there's no CMO, because that person is the one who directs what is communicated, how it's communicated, what channels is communicated, how often it's communicated, um, how do you correct misconceptions, and then of course again within the company as well. I'm very very particular about communication being complete, that is across tandem within the company. When the people within the company are very very entrenched in the company's message and communication, the company does better many times. So yes, the when there's no CMO, I would say that the corporate communications person should be the person who has that job.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, so I'll also ask this question goes to you more, but yeah. So I've seen where like in several organizations where they have head of marketing and communications. From what you've said, yeah, marketing on its own is a loss. Communications is also a loss. So in that kind of situation, would you advise the CEO, for instance, to separate, the role of the head of marketing? So maybe like sort of removing communications role from the head of marketing's role. So there'll be like maybe a head of corporate comms and there'll be head of marketing. Is that what like is that the line you are towing?
Absolutely, yes, yes, because um, for many startups, in many cases, because it's still a very lean team, so they many times collapse that role and say that the person who is the communications person is both marketing and comms. It's a lot of work because the person who is managing customer acquisition and engagement and retention is the same person who is speaking the messaging of the company. It's a lot. So I recommend that it should be that role should be broken into two, because there is a lot of there is a lot that is at stake when it comes to corporate communications. The person who is head of marketing many times may not have their ears out when it comes to being able to monitor what is the public sentiment about the company, not in terms of sentiment that affects customer acquisition, but the sentiment about when it comes to with brand building. What are people saying about the brand? How people are referring to our brand? What is what is the sentiment when it comes to the brand? What is the correct messaging about our brand, whether within the company or outside the company? Those kind of communications and messaging, it's a lot of work. Who do we talk to about putting our message out there? Your press, your corporate comms, your reputation management, your crisis management, all of those things that involved in corporate communications for the brand. The person that's doing marketing would be drowned in that and will not be able to give their best. It's the same thing when it comes to when they do you have a social media person, and then some companies even put that one person to do all. And it's if you're going to do if have a company that is effective, a company that is able to have a concise message, that one person is not enough to be able to do it, to do a good job. So the social media person can have an idea so that it impacts their messaging in their content or what they put out there. But the framing, the distilling, especially when it comes to what if you have people who are investing in you, who have given you their money and who say this is what we want you to say, this is how we think, or we have a board who are voting about what is our direction as a company. You cannot have that cascade all the way to a social media person. It's defeats the very purpose of no that kind of role. So yes, I would say dividing those roles are very very important. Having somebody who is in charge of communications in itself. Now, that person's work very heavily impacts marketing, of course, but the execution of those communications cannot rely on the head of marketing. That's what I was sort of saying.
Yeah, okay. Tim Tokwe, so well, in your own opinion, yeah, who do you think should represent marketing in C-suite conversations? Okay, seems like Tim Tokwe is not here. Okay, seems like Tim Tokwe is not here. Okay, yeah, we can just continue. Okay, well, so the next question, yeah, you've kind of answered it, but maybe I should just ask again. So the next question was meant to be, how can people then position themselves to become CMOs? Because I've seen where, at least I saw a tweet recently where somebody was talking about how that he had been, like when he started his career, he had low level roles, mid level roles, and now the next thing he's aiming for is being a CMO. So how do you think people can, position themselves to become CMOs? So for instance, yeah, in companies where, okay, they do not have a CMO, they do not have, so you just have maybe a head of marketing. So how would someone position themselves, to be CMOs? So this is both. So this question is two-pronged. So one is positioning yourself for people to reach out to you to become a CMO, and also positioning yourself in your organization, for the C-suite guys to be like, okay, this person is best suited. So amongst these four guys in marketing or on the same level, this person is best suited. So how can someone position themselves? Or how can people position themselves?
Okay, the first thing I would say is as a CMO, one of the key roles of a CMO is that lies heavily on you, the company's P&L. That is that how the company is able to generate and multiply how they generate income. It's on the CMO. How do you get the company to make money and increase their capacity to make money? So I would use my experience now. This is I'm a first time CMO, so I would say honestly that how to position yourself is to find within the leadership of the company to make somebody to have them as your sponsor. That's the honest, simple first hack. Because you can try your best and just be seen as a hardworking staff, but somebody has to be speaking for you within those behind those closed doors when they make those kind of decisions. Somebody has to have seen you and put you forward. So um I was lucky that my my uh my my what do you call this? My team lead at the time was also my sponsor. I was that lucky. So she had told me saying that you know what, we have a role the CMO office opened, and she told me back then, I can't give it to you yet because I don't think you're ready for it. I see that there's qualities of CMO, which is one sense of ownership, ownership in terms of being able to own, to take on how you are able to help the company to not just acquire customers, but to think at the level, at the multipliers level of making money for the company. So you're not thinking as a digital marketer saying how do I make you 100K every month. You are thinking for the company, how do we multiply the ability of the company to make 100K and say let's do 1 million month on month. Yeah, that's the office of the CM. That's the kind of level of how you should be thinking. So that kind of thing comes with a sense of ownership of seeing the company's business trajectory, saying how do I do it? So those kind of things you can only be privy to them if you have been able to work with the leadership of the company to the point where you are privy to conversations when it comes to this is where we are going to, this is how I want to achieve it, and your ideas have kind of you know been entertained. She'll give you. She'll give you. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, so yes, so that's the first thing. Have somebody within the leadership that is at the topmost level who can speak for you to say, I believe this person's capacity to deliver at the level of CMO. That's the truthful thing. Someone has to hold your hand into the room. That's the first thing. The second thing is, like I said, it's the sense of ownership of being able to see the company's business trajectory and say, how can we multiply the capacity to make money at the grand scale? So the headache becomes your own. You have to be able to say, you know what, this is now my business to say, how do I guarantee month on month 10 million? That's your headache, so that your ability to bring these ideas on board, when the board or the company leadership says, okay, so we're looking at Q4, we're looking at 100 million, what's the plan? When they say what's the plan, that is your cue to speak, because you are marketing, you are chief marketing, you are the person who every point from the community manager up to the growth marketer, up to the marketing lead, up to head of marketing, everybody's ideas, everybody's plan, everybody's report, everybody's insight is funneled into your own plan that you're presenting to the board to say, this is what we have seen, this is what the market is saying, this is our go-to. So you are the spokesman for the entire marketing team of the company, and your ability to say what we want to do and how it aligns with your goal of making 100 million by Q4. This is our pathway. So when they trash it, when they rubbish it, you are the one in line of fire. Mommy is mine. Good, very good. Okay. Yes. So whatever happens, it is you are the one. And they do NPR and they're saying, why haven't we made some money? What happened? It doesn't matter if it was your digital marketer that forgot to queue, to stop the ad, and you lost $4,000. It is now you have to own that mistake and explain to the board why this hadn't happened, why we didn't make money, what happened. It doesn't matter if your graphics guy went on leave and you lost the client. You have to explain all those losses, because now the financial the revenue pathways are supposed to be your bread and butter. So that's it. Have someone speak for you. 2, ownership. And 3, what I have learned so far in my journey as a CMO is the ability to be the everybody's soundboard. So to be able to go to departments, because you are the one who owns how we're making money. Everybody's contribution is going to be part of that, but you are the one that's owned it. So it is your job. You cannot say that the tech guys are not sharing their reports. It is your job to go to them and say, because you have owned the company's goal to generate this revenue, you would go to the extra mile. You would go to them and say, you know what, I want to hear your insights. What issues are you having when it comes to this? How can we help? How can what do you need so that we can be able to do better to make more money? Those conversations, you are the one that goes from place to place. So being able to cultivate an action where people can rely on you to say, you know what, if nobody is listening to me, if I can't get a problem with the CEO yet, if I meet this person, I know that somehow it will get to the ears of those that matter and they will make it happen. So be the go-to person where everybody says, you know what, if you need the laptop in your department, if getting 4 laptops will make you do better, you know what, speak to Pelumi. Pelumi has a way of getting those who will listen and make it happen for us. So you have to be that person. Every department, tech, customer success, customer support, everybody has to be able to know that, you know what, you are the go-to guy that anybody that can help to solve our problem so that we can do the work better to make more money for the company. You are that guy. That's the journey. So the journey to becoming that is, again, letting those who are the leaders see you as able to deliver. It will mean going the extra mile. Yeah, when I say extra mile, I mean it will mean it will mean volunteering a bit further than what is your typical job description. By that, I'm not saying about work. I'm saying that being proactive in your own time when you're planning your work, see end to end. Okay, how does this department impact the work that we are doing and the making of the money? So you offer those ideas. If there are no, if there are, what's the word? If there are if your bosses are, what is the word? Because I'm trying to be careful. If they are stealing your ideas, so to speak, and making it like their own, it's fine. I used to work in a company where it used to be like magic, where the person would never give you credence for your ideas, but they will go and present your ideas like it was them. And so we're as we're coming, I thought of how we're going to, and it will make me to marvel. But guess what? At the other end, I say, you know what this is doing for me is they cannot take my knowledge and the skill that I have developed to be able to solve problems. So if the person takes my idea and the executes it and it makes company money, great. Because now I have the skill to repeat that if I go elsewhere. So that's one. Two is another point is I tell people everywhere, employee branding. Employee branding is a best kept secret that can be able to put you out there. I've had companies who come to me and say, you know what, we're ready to poach you, we want to poach you. And I told them, you know what, I'm sorry, I can't, I'm not leaving. Really? Your plate? This one? No. Okay, go and bring it. Sorry, once again. So again, what was I saying? So I lost my train of thought. Sorry. So I was talking about
Yes, you said
yes.
trying to push
And
you.
employee branding is, some people have this perspective that if you're done with your work, you're done with your work. So you should stop there. Your timelines are it's your personal timeline. Nothing about work should get there. So you can post, you can, even though you are the head of marketing in a company, you can write on your bio, men are mental in this space, and think that, because of the way the world is now and how social proof is a literal currency that is that is as big as fiat right now. I think that branding yourself within a company is the key to be able to show yourself off as poachable as the next CMO of some other company. Because she gave it to you now. Excuse me, please.
Okay, so yeah, while she's attending to that, if you have any questions, you can always drop it in the chat box. So if you have any questions based off what you have said, you can just drop it in the chat box.
Okay, so sorry, I'm so sorry. So yes, like I was saying, employee branding. I had a company come to me then saying that we see you and we want to be our next. We want to employ you as our head of marketing. And I told them, I said, I'm sorry. The next time I'm going to leave a company, I'm leaving the company to go and start somewhere else as a CMO. And they didn't believe me. So me working now as a CMO of Hire Foster, now that I have more offers saying, you know what, we see what you're doing and we want you to be our CMO. I'm like, fam, where I am, I'm a stakeholder. Can I just open? So I think that the journey to CMO is showing that you are CMO material with your company. It might seem like it's random, but trust me, it is very, very important. Much more than showing that you are a superstar on LinkedIn. The proof of how what you are doing is impacting your company at the leadership level. Yeah. I tell people, I've had that that there are three kinds of tools for your career journey. there's a point of resume, there's a point of portfolio, there's a point of profile. Resume is the basic level where you have to prove yourself, and then the portfolio as you're becoming mid-level, junior person, associate, there is reference of what you've done. So when you can refer to, I can show my skill by showing you my portfolio. Yeah, but at the point of profile, you are already a leader. You are. It's about impact. It's about ripple effects. It's about multiplier effects. So at that point, it's not really about what you can. People know that you can deliver, but how do you show that you can deliver? That's the point of your profile, and that's why you can need to use employee branding. You need to be able to. How do leaders communicate? In as simple as designing a profile of yourself and posting it on your perhaps your social media, your LinkedIn. Find how do leaders communicate about themselves. Read about it and chisel yourself, your brand, your career story into that and share it on social media. As simple as that. I know it sounds basic, but yes, that's one way. Two is to talk about how what you do is impacting the company at a higher level. Yeah. So of course you may not have to want to reveal my company wants to do $1 billion. That may not be necessary. But then again, to be able to talk about a company wants to we want to be able to hit 1,000 new users by December 2022, and my department we're excited about this, and one of the ways we're doing this is this, to talk about it. What that it's a two-pronged thing, because what it does is, first, it shows that the company that you're working is a proper one. They hire people who know what they're doing. They hire people who have sense. They hire people who are forward thinking. Two is that it's showing you as a valuable staff, as one who is poachable, as one who can deliver and repeat their success wherever they are. So it might seem like it's a small basic thing, but trust me, it's would get big results. So you may not want to do your bio by say, like I've done, like I'm said across my profile, I'm CMO hire for some my profile. Anyway, you see it, you may not want to do that, but you need to talk about yourself. If you are, especially because the world is global right now, you can have people from outside Nigeria or Africa. It is good. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. Sorry again. So like I was saying, the world, the workplace, the walls have collapsed now. So your next employer could very well be anywhere around the world. And outside of Africa, social proof is a currency as heavy as the dollar. Mommy, hey, it's time to bath. Okay, yes, come in. I should bath now. You can bath. Good. You can shower. Good girl. So yes, and like I said, it's as heavy as the fiat currency. So you need to be able to present yourself in a way where what is seen online is able to get you a conversation about, is it possible for us to talk about you becoming our next CMO? Thank you.
Yeah. Interesting things you've said. Interesting, very interesting things. So yes, one of the things, I noticed that you said, was how that, okay, so the CMO's responsibilities, is huge, and it takes confidence, to be able to engage with, like the C-suite guys, the CEO, the CFO, and all. And one of the things I saw online was how that many CMOs lack confidence. So they lack the confidence it takes to engage with the C-suites. I don't know if you've noticed it also. So the question will now be, so how can, because a CMO that doesn't have confidence would not be able to, push their influence, or not be able to properly influence others, So how do you think CMOs, what can CMOs do, or what can potential CMOs do right now, to build the confidence they need to elevate their influence and further realize their roles potentials. Because from what you've said, yeah, the role of a CMO, like the potentials are really huge. So like what can current and potential CMOs do to build the confidence that they need?
You're very correct, actually. If you Google it right now and say C-suite, if you Google it right now, and it says C-suite roles, you will see every other role but CMO. You see CFO, you see CTO, you see CIO, you see COO, you will see CMO. I see that, and it's interesting, but that is changing. Why they say that they don't have confidence is, from what we've seen, is that marketers by default are always in the trenches. By trenches, I don't mean how Nigerians have the word trenches. I mean that they are constantly in honking down mode, working. Even their own social profile, it's until they're looking for work before they adjust it. They are doing every other person's work by but their own. And so it's that thing about tunnel vision, where you can see every other person's blind spots but your own. So when it comes to, oh my god, yes, and so because that pressure of I need to deliver, and you're doing it, and you haven't been able to sit back to even enjoy your own success of, I can do this, I'm able to do this, or I achieved this. To stand back and take in that, pleasure of your achievement, always being in hunker down mode, on to the next. Okay, so it's the first mind shift that I would say is, marketers, we need to we need to learn to have to be able to enjoy our successes. By that I mean that we need to show how we want to be treated in terms of I know it can be, it's a long journey, it can be tough, but we need to start to let people to show us a bit more appreciation. So for example, a CFO's job is not really about finance, but it's about financial direction that generates money. So even though when they are done with their projection, it's about, so CMO, how do we let people buy more from us? It is still going to circle back to CMO, so when they're done with all the work, it's going to circle back and say, so yes, the execution guys, you are the ones who will execute and make it happen, make the world know that we are this cool, so how are we?
Yeah, so if you have questions, you can just drop it in the chat box.
Okay, so apologies, like I was saying, how we're able to get more for, like I said, it's getting out of the trenches and standing back to appreciate our own capacity, or our own enjoy our own successes. Being in the this kind of forums, we need to create more forums where we're able to talk about how we do what we do, how what we do impacts the growth of the businesses or companies. We need to do that more. So marketers need to get out from saying that, no, I enjoy being in the background, I know I just enjoy being the one making things happen. No, every other person is out there in front of the spotlight and enjoying it. We need to step there as well. We need to increase more of us that are stepping out there to stand up and say, you know what, I did that. I'm good at this. I'm able to do this. I'm able to repeat this kind of successes everywhere. So we need to, like DigiClan is doing, we need to increase more forums where people get to be talk about what they do, how they do what they do, and how what they do is important for the company, or for businesses, or for the economy, or for the business to make more money. That is very important. Two, within the company, when it comes to when it comes to I don't want to use the word emotional intelligence. I'm being very careful. What I'm trying to say is, when it comes to working within a company, how are we able to how are we able to increase our voice within the company? So I've been in my career always seen it clear that, you know, the marketing guys don't say much, and there's this beef for them. You know, the finance guys are beefing them, sales guys are beefing them, and they're always saying, "You guys are a cost department. You guys are a cost consuming. You guys are always, you know, the ones, you know, taking all the money, spending money," and you just, you know, sit back there and stand. I think that within a company, marketing guys we need to create more times to speak up and speak about how what we do impacts the company. Yeah, so we can't just be angry saying they won't understand how, you know, how the dollar is 700 naira now, and how I need, for my campaign to make impact, I need at least $20,000 for what I would have gotten $600 in the past. You know, we can't just stay angry and sulk. We have to be able to show, to use what we know, use data. When it comes to your reports, we have to speak the language of the people in a way that we on jargon our language, and speak up to show how what we do impacts the company. Yeah, for good. Not just saying the CTO and the CTA and the cost per click and all that. We need to speak language that people, that how they understand what growth is, or what numbers is, and say that to show proof of what we do and how what we do impacts, because it's about respect. Once they respect you, and then your voice is clearer, and then they allow you to speak. Yes, so that's what I think is very important within companies. We need to stop just, you know, saying we are the guys in the background, we're the ones that make things happen, and just keep quiet and allow them to bully us into silence, you know, and say that you guys are just, you know, a cost center, you guys are just the ones spending money. Speak up. We need to start speaking up. So if anybody makes this kind of, maybe even if it's in jest within the company, we need to start to say, you know what, educate them. Let me tell you how what I do impacts what you do. If I don't do my job, it doesn't matter what you mean. Find a way to communicate how what you do impacts what they do. Not in a way that has to be about antagonism, but then to not just keep quiet anymore and just say our results will speak for us. Sometimes, I mean, it may take a while before your results to speak. We know that very well. We're in marketing. We know that very well. So we can't just keep quiet or keep silent anymore. Speak about it. Speak in the language that can communicate the value of what you do. Find a way to say it. If you were a sales guy, how would it make sense to let them know that they need to increase your budget? If you're going to the CEO, how do you communicate what it will mean for the numbers if they increase your budget? If you were the head of marketing, how do you communicate that my team is overstretched? I can't do good work with just one social media person and one graphics person. I need more hands. You need to hire more people. We need to explain how what we do impacts the bottom line. So those two ends, that's what I think.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. You've actually answered like two other questions I wanted to ask, you know, based off your responses. Yeah, so the next thing will now be, so yeah, you should actually, from what you said, yeah, you should always use data to back up whatever claims or whatever things you want to do. Yeah, but I'm sure there are instances where even when you show the members of the C-suite data, they will still want you to, or they will still want the marketing person or the CMO to go a different direction. So I don't know, have you like, has that kind of thing happened to you or someone you know, and when things like this happen, what's the best way to deal with it? When you've shown that, okay, this is what the data is saying, let's do X, Y, Z. And then the other members of the C-suite are now like, no. Yes, data may be saying this, but let's go this other direction. So
Absolutely.
people in such, so how can one deal with it? What's the best way to go about that?
Um, I would say how, and I would share a story. I used to work in a company where it was one of the sub companies of Unilever. We had one of the portfolios and that we were marketing for one of their SKUs, and I was both social media and trade marketing executive, meaning that I was the one who would ensure that I went to I alternated when I went to Okeanri, and when I went to what's the word, that one at Festac, ensure how are the stores looking, how many people are stocking our products, how our products stocked, are they having good visibility, and when I'm done, I'm the one who will post. So my boss then was complaining that the our social media was not, was not buzzing. And then they were giving instances of people that I knew had 70% bots, that I knew had what's what had were using pods. You get, so they just saw their likes, 1 million likes, 700 comments. That's what they just kept saying. Why can't you be like this? And I told, and then it got to a point I told my boss once. I said two things: you either increase my budget or you allow me to post nudes. If I post nudes, we will get the kind of, and he was shocked. I told him, and I told him why, and I showed him. So what I think we can do. So I have had instances where the company is saying, yes, we hear you, we see what you're saying, but we are insisting on going in another direction. For that one, I was working in Fine and Country, and Fine and Country it was luxury related. That's the 1% of Lagos. They are related. That's what we're selling houses to. And from what we saw, that we kept telling them, like, you know what, the kind of social media, because Fine and Country is part of a franchise, a global franchise. They are headquartered in the UK, and the other Fine and Country companies, they just post the fine house, just saying, look at this, you deserve this, and then they just post fine house, just very stupendous, expensive house, and that will be all. And then you will see 5 million likes, and then my boss will complain, say, can't you see? There's no long talk. And I see that audience, it's not this audience. This audience is different. And I kept trying to know. And then they would say, yes, we understand what you're saying. Nigerian audience, they have trust issues, they're no more convincing. But the same, we still had to do, we still want to do what we think we want to do. So what I think we do is, like we said, if we are working with data and we show data, many times what I have seen is that we show data, but we are speaking our language. I still see reports to CEOs and boards that have things like the click per the click per million, the cost of these people. That does not make sense to them. So many times it is the language with which we communicate our data is not language that they can interpret. Like we say in communication is about shared meaning that not talking, but shared meaning. So what I intend for you to say is what you are getting. So how do we get shared meaning when it comes to using that to communicate? So we have to first of all establish that we have done shared meaning, that this is the way to go. This is what will happen if we do ABC. And when we have shown that it is clear, there is reports. You need to also, something like this, we need to have receipts. So when you have a kind of reports, document the reports. You don't share your reports on WhatsApp. Share it by mail. No, on this date, this, and let them say, no, that's trash. We're going to go with shaking bomb bomb. We don't want to do ads. We don't want to do ads. We want to do influencer. Let Tokema Kewa come and just say that our brand is the best. And then it says, great. Two is, this one is not a, it's not a textbook one. It's don't gloat. When it flops, please don't gloat, because it's hard not to want to gloat because it's a clear I told you so. So hopefully if it goes your way and they don't listen to you and it flops, the sign of that you are pro the company is that as you are seeing that it is flopping and it's about to, is for you to come up with how we can salvage it. That's what I've seen. I'll give an example. When I was working with the former agency, we had a fintech app, a bank app, and we had seen over time that the kind of audience that was gravitating towards us with people who were no frills, the sub for me, people who were Davido stands and whiskey stands, and people who for them it was about the benefit of how to just save my money, put the barest minimum. I don't want charges. I know those kind of people, not people who will say that my what's the word? What's that name they say? That your bank charges on your fixed deposit is to 15K. You can already imagine if someone's bank charges is 15K, you can imagine how much is in their fixed deposit already. Not that kind of audience. That was the key audience, especially on their online communities. And we told them, they said, no, you guys are sounding too ratchet. They're sounding ras. No, but we don't want that for our brand. That's not who we are. We're very uppity. We're very crisp. We're very upper cross. We told them, and then we showed them data after data showing that when we did certain things, you could track the direct impact of how we were doing online was impacting the growth of revenue, the growth of acquisition, the growth of customer use, the growth of engagement, the growth of customer feedback. You could track there was a direct link. But they said no, you guys it just sound too ras and ratchet. We need you to go up. So we said great. And we did that. We started becoming very crisp. When you said before, when you abuse the brand and you say my money is hanging, we'll come and say, no, why are you angry now? Okay, no vex. Okay, no worry. Let's go to DN. Let's settle the matter. You know that we be guy, we be men. And it would cause banter and people would laugh, and then it would, in fact, people by themselves. We had a lot of organic people saying, by themselves, I was angry before, but man, people, they just bust my head with the way they replied me, so I'm going to delete that tweet. It was that easy. But when we became very crisp and okay, hello, Palumi, okay, we see the problem, we would address it right away. We're glowing. What's this problem? Why are they speaking English? Why are they speaking English too? I don't know how many people manage handles here, but have you ever watched a tsunami on your follower before? Like bleeding. Like you watch across your platforms and you can in real time the bleed, the loss of followers. It just went like it was like an avalanche. Just drop. The complaints as the customers were dropping, the complaints were, because again, we couldn't be able to douse antagonism with banter. It was proper English. So someone who is already angry and you are saying, excuse me, calm down, of course that would aggravate them the more. And then so we had a lot of people who were angry, and so it was, as soon as we saw that it was increasing, it was easy for us to say, oh, we talk you see, that's exactly what we said. So you guys go and treat it by yourselves. We couldn't afford to do that, because for us it was the greater good. It was that because our names were also attached to this brand, we needed to save the brand, because this was for us. So we were seeing how this was going and how it was. So we told them, this is what we will call our intervention. We need to apply this intervention right away. We need to do 1, 2, 3. We see where this is going to, which then data. This is what it's saying. This is what data is saying. This is what we are having. These are the problems that we are having, and it happened when we began to execute this. So again, because the company, it's not about their ego anymore. Their desire to make money is bigger than their ego. So it's about, okay, whether it's grudgingly or not, it will become clear. They need to make the decision. Do we continue to lose money or bleed goodwill or bleed our communities, bleed customers at the risk of doing what we want? So that's where it is. So not gloating, but in good time, as soon as you can see that it's not going according to how they desire it to go, we cannot afford to stand back and gloat. We have to put forward and be proactive with what is the intervention that we can use to salvage the situation so that they can, So there is nobody that is, trust me, that is stupid enough to want to continue to insist on their way when they can clearly see that they are losing money. Like I've said, people's desire to make money is bigger than their ego. So as soon as they see that it is clear that we are losing money, we are losing our goodwill, we are losing our customers, they would, even if they take the say it's our idea, it's great, but as long as we are able to salvage that situation, that's the important thing.
Okay, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so every company or every proper company, yeah, was built to or was founded to solve a problem for the customer or for the consumer. But
No,
one of the things I've noticed,
was planned to
most
make money.
companies, yeah,
No,
are
all
built
companies
to,
to make
you
money.
know, solve
Simple.
needs.
No, to make money. You need to get it by yourself. Make money. Simple. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Keep it.
but the means to making, okay, maybe I should say it this way. Yeah. So companies are set up to make money, but how one of the major ways they make money is by solving a need
Ha.
for certain customers.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, so most times in a bid to make more money, members of the C-suite begin to forget the customers, begin to forget those that, those that are even giving them the money in the first place. Yeah. So how can a CMO, how can a CMO influence other members of the C-suite to be more customer centric? So as against just thinking, okay, it's all about the money, it's all about the money, it's all about the money. So because at times, yeah, when they think so much about the money, at times the experience might not be good. So for instance, the experience might not be good, but they'll be like, you know what, so far they are giving us money, there's no need to improve this by XYZ%. So how do you think a marketing person, a CMO, can influence, the C-suite guys to be customer centric essentially? So what should we be doing as marketeers? What should we be doing as CMOs to influence the C-suite guys to be more customer centric while being profitable, while trying to make money?
I'll just say that how the CMO can do that is to introduce more opportunities for the company to make money, and in a caring way, in a customer centric way. That's it. So for them, because for them their north goal is just to increase. So if they say that this what they're doing is making money, they typically just say no, why fix what's not broken. So if for you, if the focal point is to get people to see that you care about them, you want to take, for example, for Coca-Cola, the Share a Coke campaign. Yeah, it was happening at a time when people were saying that no, Coke's popularity had peaked. There was nothing more they could say. There was nothing they could do. This and that. So they came up with the Share a Coke, or the one where they name. So the one in Nigeria was one about the name, of people, but the ones that were around. I remember there was one that I really liked. There was in the campus. I think it was in Singapore. They put a fridge of Coca-Cola just there at the open center where the new the first year university students were coming, and they designed the Coke in a way where you can't open the bottle by yourself. Someone else's Coke bottle has to like click with your own to open each other's bottles. See how far thought went. So I have to, and then it was new. So it was like an opportunity to say, you know what, to talk to each one somebody. So you need to go to the fridge. When you pick a Coke, you can't win by yourself. So you need to go and say, hello, my name is Mobola. And this and that and that. And you guys can say, oh, you want a Coke? I think, I think I'm gonna figure it out. And then someone says, okay, this Coke is this. And you go and pick up some of that Coke by yourself, and together click the bottle cover to open each other's bottles. That's the only way you can open the Coke. So the sort of finding the university that was resuming first year level, finding where is the central point that only first year level that have never met each other will be, put the fridge there, design the Coke in that way, design the bottle in that way, all that thought. Now for the guys at the board, their own is great. If we put this fridge in, how many universities are opening this year? They are seeing the numbers. But for you are also seeing how can people say, oh my God, this is so cute. Oh my God, I love Coke. It's a win-win. Do you see it? It's a win-win. So as far as your CMO is concerned, people are seeing Coke and they are getting more, warm feeling. Coke cares about us. Coke wants me to make more friends. Coke wants me to connect with people. It's so cool. When I think of Coke, I think of friendship, all that one. But trust me, the money is making for the board members. So the honest, oh great. If the idea will make us more money, go for it. You need money. So, I had this boss once when I was there at SKU, and then I would say, I need 100K to run ads, and he was a whiz at Excel. This man was the CEO of the Nigerian office, and he was the finance guy. This guy was a whiz, and he would say he was Lebanese. No, he was Iranian, and he would say, okay, you need 100,000. Very good, very good. So if I give you 100, and then he would enter, he would come. He would open his laptop and show me, if I give you 100,000 today, in 6 weeks I should have, and he clicks enter, and then the money that I'm supposed to have made with 100K will just appear. And I'm like, you are who will make that amount of money. So he will say, you agree? I give you now, you agree? And then so for the people who are making decisions, their own is, I don't mind what you are doing. If you are dancing, it's great. And my own is, if I give this amount now, how much is it going to make for me at the end of this time? So if you're able to balance the showing the brand is caring, showing that we love the people and all of that, to balance that with how will that affect us? How will that increase our revenue? You get that's the job of a CMO. So your own is, like I said, you are astride the company and the team. So you come and say, guys, my boss, I said then when we should go to meetings, I will sit in the meetings and she'll say, so Mobola is going to think of this idea that we're going to do. It's going to make us, and I'm like, I will. Oh wow. And then when we're done with the meeting, so how are you going to do it? So then we have to come back and sit back together and then generate these ideas. But so it's that balance of speaking for the company and taking the board's goal to your team and saying, how do we fix their desire to make money into a warm, fuzzy way? That's basically it. So you can't change their minds. You can only match their desire to make money with a desire to impact or show that you're a caring brand.
Thank you so much for that. So we are pressed for time. So do you have any final words before we take questions?
No, I think I have said my heart's today.
Okay, yeah. So if you have questions, you can drop it in the chat box. So there's a question here. So someone is asking, how do marketers manage C-suite expectations? Drawing from your last example you gave, I give you 100K. How much would it make for me?
So in the marketing department, one thing is very clear. Those who are really marketers, they know that last, you can only do your best and hope for the best. Nobody outside the marketing department understands that like a marketer. That you can only check it. Anybody who is giving the marketing people problem, they are not in the marketing department where they understand that you can only do your best and hope for the best, even if you spend all the money. Those who are in marketing understand that. So anybody who is understanding that that person will not have a heart of marketer. So how do you convince your boss? And that so first of all, like I said, it's the numbers. So it's the numbers and having a proactive mind. So it's not every time that you run a campaign that is successful. I'm sure people have battle scars to tell for that sometimes it just went completely south, and it is your lead, the CMO that will go and explain, of course, how that happened again. But it is like you said, how do you explain to your boss if you have a goal and you need, and how do you achieve it? What I would say is speak with the numbers. So if we do this, we should be able to get this. But trust me, as soon as you are, again, because it's not a, what's the word? How can I put it now? It is not a, even if when you do your best, it's it's not in your hands. You don't have a crystal ball to predict how it may go. So you are on alert every time. As soon as it doesn't look like as early as by 30% through your campaign had broken, it's not looking that way. From that moment is how you start to think of your intervention. So you need to go back. If it's your marketing team, of course, you should be able to go back and say, what we are seeing is what we're expecting. So this is what, based on what we have seen, this and this is what is happening. This is where the fall off is happening. This is where the halt is. This is where the obstruction is. Where the obstacle is. This is how we think we can fix it as early as possible to turn it around. So it's not always roses of happy endings. Sometimes it can go south. What you need to have as a marketer is the mind of being proactive to know how to arrest something on time when it looks like it's going to be really bad pretty soon. That's what I think I can say.
Yeah, thank you very much. So in the absence of any other question, we would have to call it a day. So for those of us that are registered, the recording will be sent to us. And then also when we have further panel discussions and master classes, we would also be informed. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Mobola. So it was really insightful. Yeah, thank you all. Have a wonderful, weekend. Yeah,
Thank you very
bye
much.
everyone.
Bye.